Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden and we're going to return to a brewery you've seen me review a good number of things from before, and this is one that I always keep an eye out for in the local and småskaligt assortments. This particular beer was released on the 1st of April 2020 and it's a style that seems to be making a little bit of a comeback at the moment actually. So for this review then we are going to go back to Gothenburg, Göteborg as you would say in Swedish, the Swedish craft beer capital, and we're having a look at another beer from Spike Brewery, and this one must be review number 10 or so from this brewery that I've done for you on the channel. This particular beer is called the Blockula Groove and it's a black IPA coming in at 7% ABV. I think this one will be a bit interesting because I notice on the ingredients on the side here it says that it's got wheat and oats in it, so I'm wondering if this will be more like a kind of New England style black IPA, but it's also got Mosaic and Cryo Amarillo hops in it, so it should be nice and orangey leaning. And if you've watched the channel before you all know that I'm a huge fan of my nice big orangey flavours, but yeah, I think this one will be really nice. The Blockula Groove 7% black IPA from Spike Brewery in the Gamlestaden area of Gothenburg on the west coast of Sweden. Should be pretty awesome. So this is a brewery that I really would recommend that you check out. I've filmed a little out and about video at their brewery. They open up the brewery every Friday and Saturday I think it is, and you can go along there and taste different beers and things like that. So I filmed a little out and about video and I also talked to the CEO of the company when I was up there as well. They're actually a very nice little brewery, these guys. They're not exporting too much at the moment, but I think once they start growing and get a bigger brewery and stuff, you will see this brewery making its mark in the rest of Europe as well. We need to see about that. But yeah, very much looking forward to trying this one. I always enjoy reviewing my beers from Spike and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one as well. So yeah, as always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Spike Brewery before. No doubt you will see some more at some point in the near future, probably next month in the next local and småskaligt, and beyond that you will see more. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Spike Brewery then, on to my brewery notes. So Spike Brewery are based in Gothenburg and they were founded back in 2014 by Mats Westberg, Marcus Axberg and Martin Johansson. All three of these guys had worked in the IT industry, but it's now only Mats and Marcus who are still active in the company, and they now have David DeSourcy who joined the company and became CEO. And I actually met him when I was filming my sort of out and about video that I did at Spike Brewery as well, and he's a very nice guy actually. I think we are going to try and set up an interview or something the next time I go up to Gothenburg. But the brewer is Bernardo Gava. He is from Brazil and he trained in brewing at VLB Berlin, and he joined the company back in 2017, and at the moment these guys are producing around 250,000 litres of beer per year, and about 25% of their total production capacity goes into contract brewing other breweries' beers. I think they brew some of the Duck Pond beers, formerly Microphone Bryggeriet, and I'm not sure which other breweries are doing their stuff. And I think maybe All In probably do some of their stuff at Spike Brewery as well actually, but yeah, they are doing some of the contract brewing or whatever, gypsy brewing, for some of the other breweries as well. But you can find the brewery itself in the Gamlestaden area. They've got an on-site tap room which opens up on Saturdays and also serves food. The brewery is a former slaughterhouse. I think they call that Släkthuset. Släkthus, something like that in Swedish. I can't remember the exact translation, but they are looking for opportunities to build their own brewery at the moment. And as of April 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, they've produced around 80 different kinds of beer according to Untappd. But you know, that might be a little bit inaccurate because not all the early beers will probably be on there. But yeah, really nice brewery this one. I've had some very good beers from these guys in the past. I think the last one I had was the Keep On Bombing or something it was, and that was a really nice kind of New England IPA, but a bit different from the ones that I'd had from them previously. But yeah, definitely a brewery you want to check out, and I highly recommend that you have a go at some of their beers if you get the chance. So yeah, let's have a look at this one and see how we get on then. Check out all the websites in the description below, like I said, but here you can have a little look at the artwork of this one. I'm just checking that you can see this on the camera. You can see there are, it looks like witches. Or what is it exactly? I'm not sure. It looks like, you know, is it wizards dancing with like goat figures or something? It looks a little bit, you know, like satanic cultish or something like that. I'm really not sure what the artwork on this one is supposed to be. It's nice, I like it, but I'm really not sure what it's supposed to be. It looks like these guys wearing goat, it looks like a couple of wizards and then some goats dancing with them or something. I'm not sure. Very satanic anyway, so 666, Hail Satan, Number of the Beast, all of that I guess. But yeah, as I say, this one is a 7% black IPA. It's hopped with Mosaic and Cryo Amarillo, so it will have some lovely orangey flavours in there. Mosaic will give you a little bit of a, I think it can give you a little bit of a tropical-y note as well sometimes, and you do also get a little bit of blueberry out of it in the flavour sometimes too. And Mosaic, Amarillo rather, is a very big oily orange. I think Mosaic is around 13-14% alpha acid. I think Amarillo is like 11 normally. So yeah, but this one also has wheat and oats in it, so I'm wondering if it will be a little bit more kind of smooth and New Englandy in its texture and things. But a 440ml can, this one. I can't remember how much I would have paid for this, but I suspect somewhere in the region of 45 Swedish crowns, and that is not far off £4 British, you know, €4.50, something like that. So yeah, let's get this guy out then, and we will get on with the tasting. So yeah, see how we go here. But yeah, no, that's my thing. The prices with Systembolaget, like the prices of beer that we get are actually, you know, pretty damn good, I have to say. I think the prices of stuff, for all of it, you know, a lot of people complain about the faults of Systembolaget and the whole nationalised system and stuff, but you know, with the quality of beer here that you get in Sweden, and the prices that you pay for it, it is actually really damn good. I mean, a beer like this would cost you easily, you know, about £7 or something back home in Scotland. It would be something like that. So you're talking about, that would be about 86 crowns or something you would pay for a beer like this. And to buy it in Systembolaget for 45-50 crowns, it's pretty damn good actually. So long live Systembolaget as far as I can see. And of course over here we earn, you know, a good 30% more, well, probably even more than that actually, but you know, there's about a 20% difference in the cost of living and things like that, but then wages are considerably higher. Benefits are considerably higher, of course, as well. So yeah, I always think, you know, Systembolaget, I think in some ways gets a lot of flack that isn't needed. I think, yes, I think in some ways that's one of the things where I think Swedes should see the prices in other places and stuff too. But yeah, Systembolaget, in terms of the Swedish, the domestic beer, the prices for me are really good actually. So yeah, as you can see with this one, and as you can would gather with a black IPA, this one's poured a lovely, it's a dark sort of ebony rosewood colour. If you let the light go through it, it's got that lovely kind of Coca-Cola, Pepsi Max sort of coloured edge to it. It really has a little bit of that going on, which is nice. There's a solid 2/3 finger of a frothy, I would say, light kind of beige head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the head there, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head, and overall it looks very nice. There's nothing really surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance, but the thing that surprised me when I put it up to the light, it does have a little bit of that almost ruby-ish edge to it, which when it's got oats and wheat and things and that, you would expect it to be a little bit more kind of murky and hazy and things like that. So it's interesting that it has almost that. It does have a little bit of clarity to it, but then again, I guess it depends how much oats and wheat and things like that they've used. I would be curious to go. I mean, as I say, I will go to New England in sort of September time, late July, late. I'm telling you lies, it's August. It's August that I'm going to there. Fingers crossed if all the stuff works out. But yeah, it's late July, early August that I'll be going up to New England, and I'm wondering if some of the breweries up there will be producing black IPAs and things. It'd be cool to see if there is a difference in the black IPAs that you get in New England and on the west coast. But yeah, this beer looks very nice. There's nothing overly surprising about it in terms of its appearance when you consider what style it is. So sorry about the edit there, guys. I don't know what it is. The camera keeps playing up around sort of 8 minutes in. Strange. But yeah, let's take a look at the aroma of this beer and see how we get on then. I'm really curious about this. So yeah, straight away with this one, it actually, compared to other black IPAs that I've come across, this one strikes me as being really smooth. I mean, underneath you can smell a little bit of that roasty toasty black malt. I do wonder if there's a bit of carafa. I think there might be a combination of black malt and carafa in this one. Because you do get a little bit of that really well fired bread crust thing that you get from the carafa malt. And that carafa of course comes from Weirmann in Bamberg in Germany. So yeah, you do get a little mixture of that in this one. You get the as I say, a bit of toasty black malt, bit of carafa, but you really get some nice smoothness out of this, which will be the wheat and the oats, I would guess. But the wheat doesn't quite smell the same. It doesn't smell kind of white bready. It comes across as a little bit like a brown bready kind of thing, which is really interesting. And you can definitely smell a bit of the kind of creaminess from the oats, and it's really interesting to have that mixed in with the black malts and the carafa and stuff like that. I think that's a really interesting. I think that's a really interesting sort of combination with this one. There's a bit of sweet caramel in there. I do get a little bit of sweet caramel and some lighter kind of biscuity qualities out of this beer as well. So yeah, I really like how this. I really like how this goes together. The malt base in this is really nice. It is quite different, as I say, from other black IPAs that I've come across before, but it's got a very nice. It's got a really nice smoothness to it. That's the thing. There are one or two little woody kind of undertones to this beer, but it's the roasty black malt and the sort of carafa type things, that well-fired bread crust, bit of sweet brown sugar, and there's definitely a bit of caramel to this beer, bit of lighter biscuit, and you know, it's really nice how that goes together. The smoothness from the wheat and a bit of the creaminess from the oats are really giving this beer a little bit of an unusual aroma in my mind. As I say, a few kind of woody undertones to the beer, and then the hoppy side of things is quite interesting too. So let's look at the hoppy side of the beer. So for me, there is a good little bit of earthiness to this one, and that kind of mixes in with the carafa type notes and the roasty black malts that are in there. It really wouldn't surprise me, you know, when I think about it, when the brewer Bernardo trained in Germany, it really wouldn't surprise me if he's using carafa, because obviously it's a German malt. So that's just something I thought of there. But you really get the earth. You get a little touch of earthiness from the hoppy side of things, and that builds a good bridge, I think, between the kind of malty backbone that the beer has and the hoppy and the kind of hoppy side of things too. Mosaic will give you a little bit of earthiness, and it's quite a strong earthiness you can get from Mosaic as well. But on the green side of things, I find this one quite floral. There is almost a little bit of spiciness to it, but that might be the black malt giving that impression. And you've got a little bit of lighter grassiness there too. But the citrusy notes out of this beer in some ways does really strike me as being quite zesty in the aroma. But when it's Amarillo and Mosaic that you're getting out of this one, then you are going to get that. So you get some of the lighter, you get a bit of a lighter, juicier tangerine note from the Mosaic, but then you can smell a little bit of that more oily. You really can smell a little bit of the more oily Amarillo oranges coming out of this one as well. I don't think there's much more in terms of complexity to the fruits. I mean, you will get a little bit. There is a little bit of a kind of red fruity note to this beer as well, like a little bit of a kind of raisiny or figgy quality in there as well. And of course, you're always going to get that when you mix hops with different malt bases. I mean, Simcoe is the classic example. It's a very nice hop to use in black IPAs because it behaves completely differently. It gives you a hell of a lot of red fruity flavours compared to its normal passion fruit when you put it into these beers. So I'm really curious to see how the Amarillo and the Mosaic behave in this one. Let's just stick the last little bit in before we actually taste this beer, but I think this will be very, very nice actually. So yeah, let's have a taste of this one then and see how we got on, but make sure you do take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer. So this one is the Blockula's Groove, coming in at 7% ABV, a black IPA from Spike Brewery in the Gamlestaden area in Gothenburg here in Sweden. Let's get stuck in. Slange, skål. That's really nice. This is good. This beer It really is. I like this, I really do. This is one of the best black IPAs I've had in a wee while actually, and it's quite different. At the same time, I mean, as I've told you before, I've always felt with the black IPA that they need a little bit of sweetness. You know, I've always felt that I felt that this is a style that's better as an imperial, because it gives you, usually you've got a bit more caramel and things like that, you've got a bit more of sweetness to balance it out, but this one kind of shows you can use the oats and the wheat to balance it out in the same way. I think this beer really, really works, so I will say kudos to take my hat off to Sprite Brewery for this one. I think this is better than the other black IPAs I've had from them before. I would say that, and I think they're onto something with using the wheat and the oats in this. So I don't know if you can say that this is more like a New England type black IPA, but this one really gets a thumbs up from me. I like this, so I would really recommend this one. This is a style, as I say, that I quite like. I like orangey flavours in my IPAs as well, so bear that in mind, that there is obviously a little bit of bias there with this one. I love the Amarillo, was always my favourite of the original high alpha acid hops. Now you've got Mosaic, Azaka, Mandarin Bavaria, Waiti, Sabro and things like that. You've got all of these big orangey hops now they've got some really interesting things. But this beer just ticks the boxes for me on quite a few areas. But black IPAs, I have noticed they've been making a little bit of a comeback, and this is a nice one. So yeah, try this when you get the chance. Let's try and break down the flavour a little bit then, because this is really nice. Straight away with this beer, you can feel that nice kind of, there is a bit of the kind of roasty toasty black malt and carafa sort of thing. That just blankets the middle of the tongue, but very, very quickly it's just smoothened out by the oats and the wheaty side of it. I really like how that goes together. So you've got the roasty, it's almost in layers, this beer. You've got the roasty, toasty, carafa, black malty sort of thing. The carafa, like I say, gives you a well-fired bread crust. Towards the back of the palate, you've got the kind of wheaty aspects, the wheaty smoothness to this one. But then as you move further forward, you can pick out a little bit of the kind of thicker, oaty note with this one, which is really nice. In the centre of your palate, you are definitely getting a little bit of a kind of sweeter, kind of caramelly note out of this one. Oh yeah, there is definitely a wee bit of a kind of caramelly note in the very centre of your palate there, which works really quite nice. You can feel the, you can actually feel this one. This one does dry out a little bit the further you go into the aftertaste, and more of the roasty carafa type malts push their way out, but the wheat and the oats really keep it very, very smooth. That's what I really like about this one. That's what makes it stand out. This is one of the best black IPAs I've had in quite a wee while, and that's not to take anything else away from the other ones, but I really do think they're onto something with using the kind of New England approach, the wheat and the oats, as opposed to having a big sweet kind of caramel malt base as well. And I do like that side of it as well. So maybe you can get West Coast black IPAs and New England black IPAs after all. Who knows? But I think it would be interesting to try some of these at a lower ABV, because like I say, I always felt with the old school black IPAs that they were better as imperials, because you did get some breweries who just put basically a pale malt base with a bit of black malt and nothing to kind of sweeten it, and it was just very, very dry, and they blasted it with hops, and it was a bit I just always felt you need a little bit of sweetness in the malt base there to balance it out. That's why I'm such a sucker for the West Coast IPAs, because I like a bit of the sweet malt base. Scotch ales, Doppelbocks, quads, a bit of Rauch beer, those are probably my favourite styles of beer. And then when it comes to the American side of things, it's the West Coast IPAs that I like. So bear in mind, as I say, different people like different things, but I do really like what they've done here. This beer gets a big thumbs up from me, so check it out while you've still got the chance. It'd be a bit of a shame if this one is only a one-off, or it'd be cool if they take the base recipe and make a few more different beers with this and things, because this is solid. This is probably this could well be my favourite beer that I've had from Spike so far. Actually, they are good at the regular IPAs, the West Coast and the New England and stuff, but I think this is one that just ticks the boxes for me. This is probably my favourite one I've had from them so far. But yeah, that malt base is really nice with this one. If you go to the front corners of your palate and move in a little bit, you will get a few kind of woody undertones to the beer. But I like the way that the kind of, the further you go into the aftertaste, I feel this beer, it really smoothens out towards the back of the palate. More of the oaty creaminess comes out, and you get a wee bit of the sweet, kind of caramelly note in the kind of front part of in the sort of centre of the palate too. Is very, very nice. On the hoppy side of things, then, back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of earthiness. To the beer that comes from the mosaic that's in this one. As you move further forward along the sides of the palate, you've got a nice bit of floral aromaticity, and as you go round the front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and more grassy. Then behind the front curve of the tongue, you've got that nice oily bubble where the juicy fruity esters start to push their way out of the beer. So yeah, I like how this really goes together. This, just as I say, ticks a few boxes in my mind. On the fruity side of things, as I say, that oily bubble behind the front curve of the tongue, it's a mixture. It really does lean towards the kind of orangey side of things. The aroma will give you a bit of an impression of a kind of raisiny, figgy sort of thing, but then it really, the whole front kind of third of your tongue where the fruity part comes out of the beer, it really is oranges and tangerines and things. If you go to the very kind of front tip of your palate, you'll pick out a little bit of blueberry, which is one of the complexities that you can get from mosaic sometimes. There might be a wee teeny bit of like pineapple or something like that in this too, and again that's one of the complexities that that mosaic can sometimes give you. It can sometimes just give you a little hint of a tropical note. Azaka really gives you a lot of pineapple though. It's another very nice orangey hop. But yeah, on the very front part of the palate it's definitely Amarillo, and further back I think it's more mosaic and lighter. It's almost like the Amarillo sits underneath, then the lighter tangerine notes from the mosaic sit on top of it, and then you've got the wee blueberry bit on the very tip of your tongue. But there is almost the impression of a little bit of a red fruity quality when you go further into the aftertaste as well. But I really like how the all the flavours in this one go together. This is just a lovely black IPA, and I do hope that they do more beers like this. I think, as I say, this is, out of all the beers I've had from Spike Brewery, this is one that just ticks the most boxes for me. I really like this one. So yeah, if you're a fan of the black IPAs, have a go at this, because I think this is, as I say, it's a bit different. It's smoother. And I think it just it does what it gives me the kind of vibe that I want from a black IPA, and you know, the smoothness and a bit of sweetness, but it does it in a different way. It does it in a more New England way rather than a West Coasty way, which is another very interesting development. So yeah, this is a really interesting one. Try it for yourself and see what you think. In terms of the mouthfeel, this one is, I think this is mid-bodied. Yeah, top end of mid-bodied, almost pushing into the full-bodied category actually. But yeah, top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied, definitely around there. Carbonation is very smooth, really quite a big oily mouthfeel this one, which is nice. In terms of IBUs and bitterness and things, I think this one must be about 50-ish. But some of the bitterness in this one is coming from the malts, it's not all coming from the hops. Which is kind of interesting. So you do have a little bit of that in this beer as well. But yeah, the malt base, like I say, you've got a roasty, toasty layer underneath, you've got the smoothness on top of it, and you've also got a little bit of sweetness that comes out later on. Some nice big oily, juicy fruits. And yeah, this beer, I think it ticks all the boxes for me. It's got oranges, it's got the nice smoothness and almost sweetness that I would want from a black IPA, and it's got a little bit of bitterness in it as well. I really like this one, so big thumbs up to Spike Brewery for this. This is the Blockula Groove, which comes in at 7% ABV, a black IPA with a kind of New England type malt base to it, and it works very, very well in my mind. So try this one while you've got the chance. Released on the 1st of April 2020 through the local and Smuskerlid assortment in Systembolaget in Sweden. I will say that I think it's a terrible shame if this is only going to be a temporary release. I hope that they do this one again, either that or they use the base recipe and take it forward and do something else with it. But that, I think this is the best beer, or at least it's maybe my favourite beer I've had from Spike Brewery so far. The other ones have all been good, but this one just it just strikes me for some reason. So yeah, take that comment as you will. But yeah, really nice beer this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review it for you. So I hope that you guys have, pardon me, enjoyed my take on this one. I would describe this as a nice big kind of oily black IPA, oily orangey and smooth black IPA. That's a good way to summarise it. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Spike Brewery as well. No doubt we will return to these guys at some point in the near future, but this has been an awesome one. As I say, probably my favourite so far, and we'll leave it at that. It's been a bit of a longer review this, so I'll catch you guys later. The Blockula's Groove Black IPA, 7% ABV from Spike Brewery in Gothenburg on the west coast of Sweden. Slanja, skål, cheers.